Big up. Good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? I'm pretty sure most of you United fans are just like me, having a good day, good start after a good win last night. You know, again, we would say it's against Sheffield United, but guys, I implore you, just remember Tottenham only scored two and still conceded one to a 10-man Sheffield United, right? And as well as Man City in the same regards, 2-1. What are their excuses? Even other teams lost. Aston Villa drew 1-1. You know what I mean? So it might be Sheffield, but it proves that on the day, sometimes a team could play above their recognized stature. You know what I mean? Guys, thank you for joining me. Big up to all of you joining. Hope you're having a great day today again. As I would say that again, because you know what? 4-2, and you have to be happy. Probably should have scored 5 or 6 yesterday. Probably shouldn't have conceded those goals. But the mistakes are there, but the performances are, what? Their performances in their own right, depending on the games. And if you look at the goals that we've been scoring since the turn of January, I would say our highlight reel is quite impressive in the quality of goals we've scored. Guys, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to bring to you a little clip of Eric Ten Hag's post-match conference, just a part of it, where he talks about some things, and maybe we could react to that, and you can tell me what your thoughts are, what you're thinking, how you're feeling. The season is not over. I mean, we are in the FA Cup final, and when you look forward to the league, I mean, if we could win the last 4 or 5 games on the bounce, maybe even win at home against Arsenal, we might be looking up into a better position. You never know what could happen with the other teams around us. You have to always look at where we are going. I mean, the other teams have been dropping points. Maybe they drop some more. You never know what happens. Liverpool still has to play, Tottenham. Tottenham still has to play Arsenal. These games are coming. And you know what? We might just sneak in there, scumbag into it, but you never know what could happen. Maintaining sixth is already one of those things that's most important. And you know what? Sixth, what if we win the FA Cup, guys? Well, we could dream, and we could talk about it just like we could talk about, the lack of style of play, which I think is a little bit excessive in terms of when you look at the fact that we don't have players that are playing consistently and the same replacements coming in for them consistently. It's been a bit of a shuffle from game to game. Maybe 3 to 4 games we get a good run going, and then it's a shuffle, another reshuffle. I feel like the manager has been adapting and adapting, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. And to be fair to the manager, like with the injury crisis that we have, even if we put that aside, the two players with their scandals, the other player with his drinking issue, the takeover saga, and we put all those things aside, looking at a squad that's been rotated and rotated for mainly injury reasons and players being unavailable, lacking players in certain positions, playing square pegs in wrong holes, I would say staying in top six for the majority of the season is far better than most. I mean, look at Brighton. They play good football. They're struggling for 10th place. You know what I mean? Look at Chelsea. They've spent £1 billion, changed our entire squad. Young talent, sure, they lack experience and playing together. But Poch is supposed to be a better coach than Ten Hag, and they've been in 10th for the entire season. If you look at other teams like Brentford, they're struggling. They're just above relegation. Everton beat Liverpool yesterday 2-0. I would say that's a shocking result. Big up to them, though, the big brothers of the Merseyside slapping up the little brother, letting him know what time it is. Big up to you, Joe Blackman. What's good? What's good? THDL is always in the house, my brother. Strong. We never say die because we know what time it is. We know what we've been through the last couple seasons, and we know what's the right thing to do. And it might be a tough decision. I mean, some fans think about the progression. It has not been linear. But at the same time, if you look at it from a perspective of, well, let's compare it to the other rebuilds that we have seen in the last decade: Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal. If you look at their first 18 months as a club, they've each had above 16 to 17 signings coming permanently into the club, while we have not had 16 to 17 permanent signings. We have had 16 to 17 signings, that is true, But most of those signings are loans and they're going to leave and their contribution is going to be none and void in the season after. So if they contributed in the season before, like the WEGHORSE Pizzas of this world last season, this season that contribution isn't there. So you're lacking something. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of glossing over the fact that, yes, a manager should be able to do his best with what he has available to him. At the same time, to also progress, you also have to rebuild the squad in the image of the style you want to play. And while Man City, Liverpool, and Arsenal all followed this structure, even Chelsea to an extent, you could say, you know what I mean? We have still short on the terms of rebuilding the squad. Because yeah, we brought in a few players. Yeah, some of them might have seemed like, for me, I believe some of them were stopgaps, like an Ericsson, like a Casemiro, due to the fact we couldn't get the players that we actually wanted to get at first. But at the same time, let's not make too many excuses, because you know what everyone's gonna say, we just making excuses. But let's get right into the show, guys. Joe, if you want to join me, I'm gonna drop the link in a few seconds. Let's just get right into this, guys. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe. And those of you on X, don't forget to give a retweet. Big up to you. Big up, everyone. I'm just going to play to you this manager's press conference, guys, his post-match presser. So let's see what he had to say and let's see what's going on. Big up to you, Stephanie Griffith, coming in, talking about the likes. Thank you so much for that. Big up there. 1 second. I just need to highlight something right here. Boom. Boom. All right, let's check this out. Let's hear what the Man United manager had to say in the post-match press conference.
Eric, Bruno Fernandes, with his goal and his assist right at the end, has made a crucial impact in this game. Could you just talk about his performance tonight, please?
No, I think not only tonight, he's in a very good form. I think we put him in the right position. He finds the right spots. And when he's in that position, and I think also in this feeling, he make the right decisions, and he can create a lot. He can score a goal, he give assists, give key actions. So very pleased with his performance.
Paul, just in terms of not just his technical abilities, kind of Bruno brings a lot of resistance and kind of has guided the team when they've been struggling a lot this season. Did he kind of show that again today?
He shows his leadership in his game, or he just try to explain, but also with his energy. In his transition both ways, so very important. And always he tries to encourage the team. So he's doing very well, and we are very pleased with his performance and with his attitude.
Mark.
There's a picture on the TV in the second half. Jason Wilcox talking a lot about the game with Sir Dave Brailsford. And what do you think they would make of games like this, where you're not totally in control of it all the time?
We were totally in control. I haven't seen different game. Sorry, I think we have two giveaways, and we are 2 times behind, losing the game. So if I talk about 2 negatives, one focus, one indisciplined. But for the rest, I think we were totally in control, but the team showed resilience. And it's not easy when you're losing the game and then return, especially not against a compact team, as Sheffield tonight also was. But we outplayed them. We were calm. We let them run. We had many connections. We went to one side to the other side, also defending. We did well, and so we created a lot of chances.
Hi, in your programme notes before the game, you said that the team have got a tendency to make life difficult for themselves. Obviously, you've been in control for most of the game, but you've given away 2 fairly soft goals. Does it become frustrating at all when you see the team causing lots of problems almost for themselves?
Yes, we have to stop this and stop this process. We can't stay making such mistakes. On top level, if you want to achieve your targets, if you want to win trophies, then you have to stop this process. So we have to keep the focus. You can't allow this such mistakes in focus or in discipline, and because you make your life much more easier when you don't make such mistakes, and you see the team is progressing. How many goals did we score from January on? So attacking, we are very creative. We creating a lot of chances, but yeah, defending stays always the most important fact in football. It's also to do, of course, with our back four. And we don't have the routines. We spoke a lot about that, but still doesn't matter who's there. We just have to perform. And I have to say, tonight, back four played very good.
Last question now. Rasmus Højlund scored his first goal since February today. Just your thoughts on his persistence and resilience and carrying who's not always given the ball.
Yeah, it's of course, it's the rhythm. What is broken after his injury, and now he returns, and so this goal was very important for him to return, and it will give him confidence. That is what strikers need. They need goals. They live from goals. So yeah, I'm happy for him, happy for the team, because in the coming weeks he will be huge important to the goals. We need the goals as a team, and so we need to, as much as possible, score plays on the pitch. So we have some with Garnacho, with Bruno, Rasmus Højlund returning. Yeah, so it's important that we have as much as possible.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, guys, and I have a few guests coming in, so let me bring them in. I have Mental Ball Game. He is here. Big up to you, my bro. How are you doing? What's going on? How are you feeling this morning after the game? I know I don't know if you tuned in into the start of the clip of the press conference post-match that we were hearing, but if you did, let me know your thoughts as well.
No, I'm good, man. I'm good. Big up, Mark. Big up for doing this. My throat is a bit sore, man. I was shouting the whole game, but yeah, it was an enjoyable game to be there. But I have a few points. I don't have too much time. I'm going to be here for 15 minutes because I've got a call at 1:30. But I just want to make some points quickly. Few things that I noticed. So what I did was, because I was at the game, right? I didn't focus on the ball that much, but I was focusing more on what the players do. What are the players doing when they are off the ball? What we see on the TV is when the player has the ball, the camera is pointing on that player. What we don't see is what everyone else is doing, right? So I was observing that yesterday, and there's a few things that I observed. Bruno, when he's off the ball, tries and makes so many runs, and no one picks him up. No one. Yesterday I saw him make. He was the only one who was trying to make runs. And whenever the ball was in the defense with Casemiro and Maguire, Casemiro has the ability to pick that ball, but he ignored him every time, and Bruno was getting so frustrated. He made at least three or four beautiful runs where if Casemiro had released the ball, we would have been through. And they did release it one or two times. If you remember, one time I think Bruno managed to get through and failed to control the ball.
Yeah.
But Bruno, man, and the one thing I noticed, without Rashford being there, Bruno took care of the ball so much better, because the only thing that Rashford has is pace, right? So Bruno is looking to release him first time every time when he gets the ball. Every time Bruno gets the ball, Hollywood pass over the defense, opposition defense, to release Rashford. He wasn't doing any of that yesterday, and he took care of the ball so much better. He was unbelievable last night, man. That man is a machine, man. He didn't stop running for a single minute. He was everywhere. That was an amazing performance. The other thing, Hoyland, right? Hoyland is going to be an amazing striker for us, but he needs to work on his runs. He makes the runs, but the timings of the runs is really, really bad. You know who changed the game yesterday? Scott McTominay. And I never believed I would say that. When Scott McTominay came on, the runs that he made and the timings of those runs. He was excellent, man. We should use McTominay as a striker, I tell you. His runs and the timings of those runs were excellent. He was unbelievable. One thing I need to say, Ericsson is done, man. Looking at that game, you could tell Ericsson is done. I mean, he's not physical. He couldn't handle the pressure of the players that they were putting him under. He couldn't run. His legs were gone. So Ericsson, we need to get rid of. Anthony, I know Drexen, you were saying Anthony is playing well. He wasn't playing well, mate. He was not playing well. When Ahmad came on, we saw the difference that a good player makes on that wing. When Ahmad came on, he was handling the ball so beautifully. The weight of his passes and the passes that he was making was really, really good. Menu was Menu, man, spectacular as always. He was controlling the midfield. He was really, really good. And Garnacho. So I yesterday I actually saw what our game plan is a little bit. Our game plan is load the wing that Garnacho is not on completely so that Garnacho has space to run, and then switch the ball so that Garnacho takes on his man and creates something. And the other tactic that we were using all game was trying to bring the opposition to us, let them come towards our box, and then have that long ball go above their heads. But Garnacho, he didn't have a good game yesterday. I think he tried things, but they didn't come off. But he was gassed. He needs to be benched for a game or two because he looked really, really tired after 10 minutes. Even after 10 minutes, there was a point where Sheffield United were attacking, and they were on towards our box, and Garnacho was close to their box, and he was on his haunches, man. He was done. And that was like 10-15 minutes into the game. I was thinking this man needs to get some rest because he's been playing non-stop, and I think he's physically and mentally tired right now.
I mean, it
The-
happens, it's one of those things where, all players, whether they're experienced or they're young, full of energy or full of experience, they're going to have a period where they're mentally tired or physically tired or both. So,
yeah. The only other shout out I have to give, man, Maguire was solid yesterday. He had an excellent performance. I mean, looking at that back line, you could see that he was commanding that back line. Even though it was Casemiro, Dallo, and Van Bissaka, not the usual backline that you would expect, but he was taking control of the backline. He was so aggressive. He wasn't letting any of the balls go over our backline. He was really, really good. So I have to give his props, man. With all the abuse that he's been through, the way he's come back and the mentality that he's shown, he was really good. And I was really happy that Rashford wasn't there because we actually got to see some control in the game. We actually got to see that we can protect the ball a little bit. So it was a really good game, and I enjoyed it.
I mean, I would say this: the tactics didn't really look that different to me. It looked like we were employing similar tactics, but they were being executed a bit better with the players that we had in the team yesterday. I feel like a lot of fans think that we suddenly changed the tactics for yesterday's game, but I mean, there's no big change for me. I've seen the same patterns that we were doing this season. It's just the difference is the players that we have available in the starting lineup. I feel like, as you mentioned, without Rashford in the team, there's a bit more balance in the attack going forward because we now could exploit the both wingers doing different things. Now, the only thing I might push back a little bit on is Anthony's performance. I feel a lot of people saying he didn't perform well, but the first half, arguably, I think he was taking most of the load, keeping the ball well, and keeping the ball recycled. I feel like Ahmad comes on, does the similar thing, but has a bit more success going forward and is blown out of proportion into Anthony having a terrible game. I feel like in effect, I think Ahmad yesterday, his performance says to me, yo, the manager has a headache now in terms of who starts and who gets the first minutes now, which is what we would like to have. But again, I don't think I saw that from him much before. I feel like he had one or two good performances before, but I could say in the last 7 games, Anthony had 5 games where he outperformed Ahmad. So for me, it's like, no, this is the good thing, and this is what I was like I always hope for our squad to reach a point where players coming off the bench, whether they're getting 20 minutes, 40 minutes, 60 minutes. They're making the manager have a headache in terms of who starts the next game. And this is always more important than saying a player deserves to start, unless you're seeing it week in, week out with the minutes that he getting. Well, yeah, he deserves more. And that's why now I could totally say, well, listen, Ahmad needs more minutes because I've seen it yesterday, right? And now with the sample size of the games that I've seen him play, I'm like, listen, yeah, I agree. I think he's been performing well. Yesterday, I've seen him done really well, and his contribution is necessary. And it's like one of those things where you look at it from a perspective where we should be happy because if the one part of the field that we stacked actually is wingers, and well, most of them are young, barring Rashford. So in perspectively speaking, they all have the potential to get better and go forward with our team. So like for me now, the main focus is fixing that defense. As you say, Maguire had a really good game. I agree with that 100%. Also, I think you have to give a shout out to Casemiro. In the first half, he was dictating everything, reading everything, like spot on. I think he was seeing everything happening before it was actually happening and cutting it out. I think the only blemish I would say about the first half is Onana not even reacting to Casemiro, highlighting to him that hey, the player was fishing and Dallo was not expecting to receive the ball. He thought he was going, and he should have given it back to Casemiro, who was calling for it actually. So yeah, my voice a little hoarse too because I was screaming with the goals that Bruno scored, and yeah, I woke up my neighbor. It was a big situation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw this stream back this morning. I saw the way you screamed, man. I've never seen you scream like that. Even Drex was surprised what happened to Mark. Yeah,
No,
that was good.
bro, you wanna know something mental? Like this whole season, bro. Like I know I'm extremely optimistic, more positive than most. But for me, it's like these are the moments that we live for as football fans. Our team, bringing it home. Whether it's no matter, it's just the 11 in front of you. And of course, it'd be mean much more if it's a Man City or a Liverpool or Arsenal or a Real Madrid or Barcelona. But I mean, in contrast to the season, like I always say, mental. I always looking at the season and a rebuild. I told Papi and all those guys, listen, I know we go and lose 10 games, and this was before the season start, and that was just Premier League games. And I was like, seriously? And I was like, well, yeah, because like, for me, like, yeah, we brought in one or two, we brought in like what, four players into the club in the summer. Two of them were two loans apart from that. But before the first, I feel like we needed to get like 6 or 7 players last summer, and more permanent players because I always have this gripe with loans. Because if a loan player perform well and then you don't keep him, when he leaves a void in the squad. You know what I mean? And I feel
Yeah.
like that's not a point that a lot of fans look at and when they make the discrimination against the signings Ten Hag make and the performances of the team and the fact that we're not seeing more consistent progression. Because if I was to go back to the beginning of the season, I would say that everybody was complaining about the fact we wasn't creating much chances going forward. We was defending and well, more better and compact, a little bit more better at the beginning of the season, but we wasn't creating any chances. So I would say that now we're creating more chances. We defending a tad bit more solid. The midfield is an issue. And well, this midfield is you progressing for the last six months, in my opinion. And I feel like one of the biggest reasons for the midfield issue is the fact that we lack a back line that's actually mobile to compensate, like to play the high line, shift up and down. And I feel like the only reason Ten Hag never really dropped the midfield back is because he got them in a position where the midfield and the attack was creating lots of chances. So he's like, if we sacrifice the space in between and you guys compensate during games, with the chances we create, and we should score lots of goals. And it's just funny that for me, like these things that it happening, but we not, some games we compensate better, some games not so well. I mean, it makes some players look tired, it makes some players look worse than they are. But at the same time, I feel like people forget the manager might want to play some system, but the players also have to buy into it. And if the players was buying into it, like in a lot of games we see, because there's like what, the fifth, the seventh or the eighth cup double we did league double we did on our team this season. So for a season where we're not performing well, we still managing to do league doubles over more than 6 teams or 8 teams so far. So
Yeah,
it's
no,
one of
I
those.
agree. Sorry, Mark, I've got to drop off, mate.
Yeah, no
But
worries, bro.
I'll tell you the final thing. The only thing that cheered me up more than our match was when the match finished. Someone told me Liverpool had lost 2-0. That was beautiful.
Big up, my bro.
All right, mate. I'll drop off. Cheers, everyone in the
Catch you
chat as
later,
well.
guy.
Yeah.
Big up to you, GB, coming in. 10 likes, Stephanie. Big up to all those liking the video, all those coming in. If you're not here in the live and you're here in the non-live, don't forget to smash a like and subscribe, guys. And I was just mentioning to Mental that, like for a season that we've not been performing really well, I feel like a lot of the criticisms on the team and the manager has been a little bit overreactive slightly. When you say embarrassing, I'm like, embarrassing is having the team that were the defending champions and then bottling the entire league, getting knocked out of every cup and finishing in seventh. I think that's embarrassing, But when you have a team that the season before they finished third and played 2 cup finals and got Champions League, everyone was saying, whether or not this manager was coming in or not, we're gonna finish ninth. And that's the funny bit for me, because if you predicted us to finish ninth in 22-23, that means we overachieved by 6 positions. Not only that, but we played 2 cup finals in the league. That's insane. you know and I just look at this season from that, where we didn't really add more to the squad to boost them. We know we needed 2 defenders in the summer. The manager wanted that. They didn't provide that. We got Johnny Evans, who was stalwart this season, but again, doesn't really suit the way the manager wants to play in terms of a high line. But a very, very experienced, intelligent footballer that was able to compensate in ways that we didn't expect, and contributed performances that we are left in awe of this season. So it's one of those things where I look at it like, yeah, the manager has not pulled up major trees this season. He has not did amazing, but at the same time, if you look at it prospectively, saying, listen, the core group of players were playing in a counter-attacking system for the last 6-7 seasons. And now we're shifting to attacking possession-based style, which is a largely different. Last season, if you look at it really, we implemented a little bit of possession, but we largely was playing counter-attacking last season, which kind of played into the strengths of most of the players in the core group. And when you move this season to playing a different way and they have to learn, it's going to get ugly. It's going to be bad sometimes. Sometimes it's going to be good, because you know what? Everyone has a good day sometimes. Not every day is Sunday. So it's one of those things where I look at it from the perspective that, yeah, it was not great, but it wasn't all that bad. Because in a season where we've seen so many poor performances, so many injuries, and so many other different situations, we're still in top 6. We've always been in the top 6 in the league. And I would say that's keeping a certain standard, because if we talk about YouTube, guys, all the shows are top 6, the top 6, the vibe with 6, vibe with 5, these kind of things. And the big 6. And we are in the big 6, guys. So for me, it's like, if you look at it on one hand, it could be better. Yes, I agree. But if you look at it on the other hand, we still maintained a position that's respectable to an extent. So for a season that's not been great, we're still kind of being respectable, because if you want to be a little bit positive like me and optimistic, you might shout and creep into 5th. You never know. Guys, so think about it, guys. If we had switched this season with last season, like Danny B is saying, everyone would be cheering and happy and proud and amazed and glad. And I totally agree with this comment. Big up to Stephanie, 23 away from 200. Get in and smash those subscribes, guys. Help the channel grow. Trust me, you'll enjoy the content going forward. There's a lot more planned. I got FPL for next season. Guys, membership is probably going to be coming up by then. I'm going to have some giveaways coming at the end of this season as well, guys. So stay tuned for that. I have to arrange the thing properly. So as soon as I get that organized, I will be dropping it on my community page so you guys could interact with that and see the information. Big up to all of you coming in. And I really just want to implore everyone to look at it. Look, I've been speaking weeks and weeks and weeks about different things, right? And I just wanted to bring this article from the manager where he was speaking, reacting, to growth amidst the adversity. And it's something that I feel like I definitely want to bring to all of you because, I know everyone knows about adversity, but it can be different. And, I just feel like our manager has been suffering a lot of extra adversity because I feel like a lot of people don't like him based on his the way he expresses himself, the difference in the cultural and language barrier is a little bit much at the moment. So he's not grown on the personality. His personality hasn't grown on everyone yet. And then well, sometimes he comes out and defends the players, and it doesn't really, the fans don't want him to be defending them when they are the ones largely responsible for some of the performances this season. And I agree with them, but at the same time, I would say the manager has to pick his battles. You can't fight all the big guns in the squad in one season. You fought a big gun last season or two, you fight a big gun this season again. You don't want to be fighting 3, 4, 5 big guns this season when we're not really performing well. It probably would just make it worse. Let me just get into this really quickly. Manchester United season, a story of progress and setbacks. The Manchester United current season under Erik ten Hag is a testament to both progress and challenges. With recent victory over Sheffield, the narrative continues to evolve, drawing attention to both strengths and weaknesses in the team. And as this article goes on to say, let's analyze United's comeback victory. In a display where Jonathan Gorey describes the standard as another typically chaotic affair, showcased the Manchester United resilience by coming from behind to secure a win at Old Trafford. The match, marked by a mix of early dominance and subsequent recovery, saw United's players overcoming a shaky start after Andrew Onana's mistake led to the Blades scoring first. Harry Maguire's response with a fine glancing header quickly shifted the momentum. The drama didn't stop there. After falling behind again, Bruno Fernandes stepped up, scoring twice, including a spectacular 30-yard strike. Rasmus Højlund also contributed, capitalizing on a more brilliant footwork from Fernandes. This performance not only secured 3 crucial points, but also highlighted United's offensive capabilities, particularly in critical moments. Ten Hag's perspective on progress. Despite the ups and downs, Erik ten Hag remains optimistic about the direction in which the team is heading. He acknowledges the significant strides made, especially in their offensive play. The amount of goals his team are scoring underlines the progress made during his second campaign. Gorey notes, emphasizing the improvements from the previous season. With 51 goals scored and still 5 games left, United are on track to surpass last season's tally of 58 in the Premier League. Big up to that. The defensive concerns and the future outlook. While the offensive numbers look promising, the defensive woes continue to plague United. Not having kept a clean sheet since their victory over Everton in early March signals a clear area for improvement. Ten Hag is hopeful that the return of injured defenders will restore stability. This aspect of their game will be crucial as Ten Hag looks to reassure stakeholders, including Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos' new part ownership, of his suitability to lead the team forward. Ten Hag's long-term vision. We are striving to progress the team, Ten Hag asserted, reflecting a steadfast commitment to enhancing team performance. As a United navigates the remainder of the season, the focus will be undoubtedly remain on harnessing their scoring ability while shoring up the defensive frailties. In conclusion, Manchester United's journey under Erik ten Hag is a blend of highs and lows. The team's ability to come from behind and secure wins in challenging situations illustrates their potential and growing confidence. However, achieving a balance between potent attack and a solid defense will be pivotal for the Erik ten Hag's tenure and long-term success at Manchester United. Guys, what are your thoughts on that? Let me know what you are thinking. I think that was pretty interesting. It highlighted in a balanced way the positives and the negatives of what's happening with us going forward at the current moment. And I honestly feel like there's a lot to look forward to. And when I say look forward to, I'm going to bring this into the picture. You guys have heard me doing, I've been doing a lot. I've been talking about some of the youngsters coming through in the academy and saying, I've been scouting these guys and talking about it. And you guys, I know you heard me wax very, very lyrical about this youngster, Ethan Wheatley. And even I could not predict that he was going to get minutes yesterday. But you know what I have to say about that, guys? Power to this youngster. He is going to make a name for himself, guys. Trust me on this. His performances this season for the under 18s has been nothing short of talismanic. And I'm telling you guys, with that 9 minutes, if he gets more minutes, he's going to show way more. Again, it's going to seem like a total upgrade from the first 9 minutes he's performed. And a debut like that in a winning game, under lights, and we have a next home game, so maybe he gets minutes in back-to-back home games under the watch of the faithful and might be this rising baller. I'm telling you now, guys. I don't want to say I guarantee it because you can never predict what will happen in the world of sports, but if this youngster gets some chances, I assure you he's going to take them. And let me just read a little bit of the information about him and, championship clubs. Manchester United had to come back from a goal down on separate occasions before finally winning 4-2, guys. You know what it is. Harry Maguire equalized. Yeah, we know Chris Wilde. And then we got the goals from Bruno and the final goal from Rasmus Højlund. United's approach. Erik ten Hag's side clinched all 3 points and went up to 6th in the table. And it was interesting to see the team adopt a more possession-based approach instead of the usual transition-heavy style. Whether the change is necessitated due to Jason Wilcox's instructions is not clear. How the team approaches the upcoming test will shed further light on whether this approach will be the blueprint moving forward. The other big highlight of the game was the emergence of the young academy sensation Ethan Wheatley from the bench on the 90th minute. The 18-year-old became the 250th academy star to debut for the first team. A remarkable stat and testimony to the work put in behind the scenes at Carrington. Shout outs to Nick Fox and the team behind the scenes. The centre forward has 11 goals and 4 assists for United's age group teams this season, including a hat-trick against Liverpool's under 18 earlier this month. United under 18s have run rampant all season, clinching a league and a cup double. He has been part of the matchday squad for games against Coventry in the FA Cup and Bournemouth in the league, and finally got a chance against the Blades. With Anthony Martial set to leave and with Højlund still not fully adapted, Wheatley has the chance to try and rack up a few more caps and hopefully score before the season concludes. With United set to go all out for a striker in the summer, the England under-17 international might find chances hard to come by next season. At Give Me Sports, I've already revealed that plenty of EFL clubs are interested in a potential loan. Academy fullback Harry Amas has also been on the first team bench a lot recently. Is also the subject of loan interest, as is Omari Forson, whose contract ends in the summer, and there's plenty of uncertainty surrounding his future. Ethan Wheatley goal exploits for the under-18 side made him a major loan target for Championship and League One clubs next season, and the striker isn't the only United player being eyed for loan opportunity. Left-back Harry Amas and midfielder Forson as well are both interesting, and there are other debutants on their way like Jack Fletcher, Habib Ogunai, and Shea Lacey, all champing at the bit. Whatever happens next summer, Wheatley should be proud of his rise, but he needs to keep focusing on improving as the hard work has only just begun. Guys, what are your thoughts? Let me know what you are thinking. This is one of those informations that, I was like, yo, these youngsters are doing well. And the most important thing is that their style reflects the style that we're playing in the first team. So there's more of a connected pathway for them to get in and get their chances and perform well, because they would be effectively playing the same way in the first team as they have already been playing in the academy. What better can we hope for, guys? The future should be bright. And I know a lot of people might be in Ten Hag out. Some even might be Ten Hag out. But over here, I'm Ten Hag in. And you know what? Time is the only thing that can tell the real story. And I would say to you all, thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a great evening. I will be back tomorrow. I will be looking at some other academy youngsters who are all drawing attention for possible loans this summer, a possible interesting information about some returnees that might be coming back from loan and who might be making the preseason tour as under 20 players that might be getting their chances in the first team next season. Guys, big up to everyone. Hope you enjoyed the game yesterday. You know, it was a bit of control, a bit of moments of confusion, and then we came back and took the game by the horns and the scruff of the neck. Good to see the young debutant. I've been talking about him for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I'm happy for him because I know his work effort. I know what he has to give, and I know he will only get better and better, and there will definitely be lots of surprises along the way. So, guys, you know, hope you all have a great day. I'll catch you guys later. It's been your boy, MarkN MUFC fan. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to retweet if you're on X. Hope you all catch you guys later. I'll see you all tomorrow.